Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome. It is the On Pattison podcast with me, Mike Missinelli, and our good pal, Anthony Sanfilippo. Good afternoon, Ann. How you feeling today?
I'm doing wonderful, Michael. Good to see you again.
Fantastic. Good. And, of course, we're brought to us by the good folks at the law firm of Wapner Newman. It's Thursday, January 22nd, and do you know where your new offensive coordinator is? Because I don't know where he is. The Eagles have not hired anybody. You see all these hires that are going around in the NFL, and the Eagles have not hired. Now, this is either good strategy. You wait for somebody you really want, or there are a lot of people that may be not interested in this job. How do you see this right now?
I think it's more the latter, Mike. I think that the Eagles really wanted either Mike McDaniel or Brian Daboll, and it looks like, well, we know that McDaniel's going to L.A. with the Chargers. Daboll's looking at other options. They're not going to get either one, and it makes you wonder, why is that not the most desirable job for these guys? Why is offensive
really interesting? Daboll may end up in Buffalo, but he's also talking to the Titans, and I'm going, he'd rather work with Cam Ward. I guess he's got nothing to lose if he goes down there and works with Cam Ward. They're not a good team just yet. He's got a little more leeway. If he comes to Philadelphia with Jalen Hurts, he's got to hit immediately or he gets fired.
Right. It's the entry point into the job, right? So if you join a team that has low expectations, you give yourself a little bit more runway. Whereas if you join a team that's got high expectations, you better, work out right away, or else that's it. You're going to be under pressure and you're going to be in the spotlight right away. So I think that that's part of it. But Mike, I think that there's a little bit more to this. I do.
I think there's a little bit more to this. In other words, let's go down this road, because I think where you're going.
Yeah.
Are offensive coordinators reluctant to take the Eagles job because of A, Jalen Hurts, B, Nick Sirianni, or C, all the above?
Yeah, I think that you could even add a D in there, and it's like, the other intangibles of the roster. Is A.J. Brown going to be here? Is he not? What's that offensive line going to look like coming back next year? Are the Eagles in a situation where they're going to be the rent's going to be coming due for the way that they've constructed a lot of these contracts in a couple years down the line? So is this just like a 1 year, we got to get it done, and then all of a sudden it's maybe we're starting to look at rebuilding it again? Like I think that there's a lot of things that come into play. But if I had to say what's the
biggest red flag,
I think it's the quarterback.
I think you're not going to get a lot of love in the chat room today by saying that. You know that it's got to be all or nothing on Jalen Hurts here.
I know, and I don't want to sit here and make it sound like Jalen Hurts is a bad quarterback, because I don't believe that. I don't believe that he's a bad quarterback. I just think that the way he wants to play the position limits creativity for offensive coordinators. And when you look at the names that they wanted, a Mike McDaniel, he's a guy who made he cut his teeth with the 49ers behind a staunch running game, but that when he mixed in the passing offense, it was intricate. It had a lot of motion. Mm-hmm. It had routes over the middle. Like, these are things that Jalen doesn't like to have.
Let's go down the list of things he doesn't like.
Yeah.
He doesn't like pre-snap motion.
Nope.
He doesn't like taking a snap under center.
Correct.
He doesn't like throwing the ball in the middle of the field.
Correct.
A new offensive coordinator would come in and say, guess what we're going to do? We're going to do play action. You're going to be under center. You're going to run a little more. We're going to go with run pass option plays, and we're going to throw in the middle of the field. Like what? Like why would the quarterback be reluctant to improve himself if he knows that people are on to him and focusing on the things that he can't do that well?
I don't know, Mike. I will tell you that the Philadelphia Eagles, the last few years, and I say starting with 23 when they had the collapse, winning the Super Bowl in 24, and then whatever this year was, they screw with your sports brain, right? They do something that just doesn't register. Like, it's not supposed to be the way it is, and yet that's what they are. And I can't put my finger on it. You're asking a very reasonable question that I cannot give you a very reasonable answer to.
Yeah, now Jay Sportman clicks in right away, and I knew this was going to happen. Here we go with Jalen.
Yeah.
When there's been competency at the offensive coordinator, he's been very good. When he's not, he's been bad. What's the definition of competency at the offensive coordinator? Kellen Moore?
And Shane Steichen, right?
Passing offensive coordinator, and he had to morph into, well, we run the ball better. The running game was going on all cylinders. That's what made him a good offensive coordinator. It wasn't like he was that fancy about it.
Right. 100%. 100%. And Steichen, if you go back to Steichen, look at that season. Then they went to the Super Bowl.
Yep.
Who the hell did the Eagles beat that year? It was the easiest schedule in history that year.
They didn't. But so what do you think? What style would best suit the Eagles in an offensive coordinator? I just gave you a style where you go, listen, we have not been successful unless we change, unless we throw the ball in the middle of the field, unless we do some things that maybe you don't like to do. So what kind of an offensive coordinator comes in here to change all that? Or is it impossible to change because this is the way Sirianni wants to play it and this is the way Hurts wants to play it?
Yeah. I mean, I look at it, Mike, and I sit there and say, we knew that with this, we've been talking about these issues with what Jalen doesn't like for a long time. Like this isn't something that just cropped up at the end of the season, right? If we see it, they have to see it. I mean, they're intimately aware that we see it. They know that the other team's defenses see it, so they see it. Why don't they change it? And the only answer to that can be one of two things. Either they don't want to upset the quarterback. They want him to be happy with the way things are. And be a little bit of institutional arrogance that, oh, well, we just won a Super Bowl. We know what the hell we're doing.
Exactly.
It's those two things, right?
Yeah. Yeah, there's no question about it. Now, here's the thing. The two most experienced guys you're not going to get. And everybody would say, you got to get an experienced guy in here. He's got to have autonomy to run the offense. Well, you're not going to get Dable, and you're certainly not going to get McDaniel now. So anybody you get will be a younger, untested coordinator. Are we supposed to be okay with that? Because if it's a young offensive coordinator, I don't think he's going to have the autonomy that, say, a Vic Fangio would have as the defensive coordinator. You know what I'm saying?
Correct. And that's the thing. I think look, you might find the next great offensive coordinator with some guy who's, untested, and that might work out, and it'd be great. And everybody say, oh, what a great hire. Down the line, we'll say the Eagles were so smart to wait to get this guy, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Fine. But if it fails, it's failing not because the guy calling the plays is not good at it. I mean, he might not be, but that's not it's a lot of execution with these players. And I think players get let off the hook in sports today.
There's no question players get off the hook.
Too easily.
But see, that's an easier conversation. Blame the players. Right now, we're in the throes of blaming an offensive coordinator. And they've got to hire one. So what I'm saying is anybody they hire at this point will be green as an offensive coordinator. The Bucs just hired Zach Robinson. He was a young name that was on the list, right? Maybe if the Eagles had hired Zach Robinson, would we be satisfied with that? Probably not, right?
Probably not, but I think that's a good hire for Tampa. I mean, I think Zach Robinson, he had a middle-of-the-road offense with the Falcons and didn't have a great quarterback play, right? Like, it was middle of the road with not great quarterback play. So, that wouldn't have been a terrible hire. I think that's a pretty good hire by the Buccaneers. The bigger question to me, Mike, is when you look at Mike McDaniel, right? Mm-hmm. Why does he look at the Los Angeles Chargers and say, oh, that's a better situation for me than the Philadelphia Eagles?
Well, there's two reasons for that. Yeah. One is the simple one. Pretty nice weather out there.
That's beautiful weather.
He's from Miami. He go there. His wife, I think, is from California. But the second one is he's got a quarterback that everybody thinks is the next Josh Allen.
I agree that Justin Herbert is a better quarterback option for an offensive coordinator than Jalen Hurts. But when you look at what surrounds Justin Herbert in Los Angeles versus what surrounds Jalen Hurts in Philadelphia, it's not even close. If you take the totality of the offensive talent in the whole, it's so much better in Philadelphia than it is in Los Angeles, and yet that was where he wanted to go.
I don't know. I'm not going to sit here and blame Mike McDaniel for taking the Chargers job. That
I'm
seems
not
like
blaming him.
seems like a pretty good job. I will say though, if you're successful in Philadelphia, they're already a good team. You know you're going to be on a playoff team right away. If you can get the offense perking, you get a head coaching job. You just do.
Yeah.
It's the way it rolls. If you do something that is going to improve what this thing was dreaded last year, this offense. If you improve that just a little bit, their eyeballs are open.
It's the same thing that just happened on the other side of the football with Robert Saleh, right? When you look at it, he couldn't coach the Jets. That was a disaster. He goes back to San Francisco for 1 year, and it's not like their defense was great, but it was passable minus its two best players for a majority of the season. Yeah. And he goes and gets a head coaching job with the Titans. Yeah. Right? So it's the same concept. That's all you had to do with the Eagles is it slightly improved the offense, and you could be a head coach again next year.
Is this a problem that Jay Sportman says the problem is the new guy, if he has success, will be plucked away from the birds? I don't see that as a problem because that means you're winning. You won something.
Right.
And I'll take winning something and losing a coordinator rather than not winning something and having a coordinator be on the plank.
Yeah, I'm with you on that, Mike. Like, if you lose a guy, that's a problem you deal with down the road. You don't let that hinder your decision to bring that guy in to, coach your team just because he might leave and go somewhere else. Like, if you think he can help you win next year, you go get that guy.
Here's the arrogance of the Eagles, Anthony.
Yes.
The arrogance is that they'll go hire somebody that tells you that they're smarter than you and they have all the answers. They've done it many times before. They did it with Andy Reid out of the blue. Andy Reid, they did it with Nick Sirianni. They're going to do it here again because nobody of note is out there for them to hire as offensive coordinator. So they're going to find a shiny new toy, and they're going to tell you how smart they are as opposed to you.
Okay. Like, I'm not with the. I have been in opposition of the Eagles' mindset for a long time, and it's kind of hard to be that when they've won 2 Super Bowls.
It really is. I'm saying, explain that to me. Why are you?
Just because I think they portray themselves as this organization that does everything the right way.
Yeah.
And I think that the 2 times that they've won, they've had some stars align for them. More so in 2017 than 2024. I think 24 a lot had to do with fixing the offense to go behind Saquon in the running game and Vic Fangio coming in and putting together a really good defense. I think 17, they got a little bit more lucky with, obviously Nick Foles playing the games of his life against Minnesota and New England. But I don't necessarily, I look at the Eagles in totality and I say, they've had a lot of misfires too, a lot. And no one ever talks about those because of the 2 championships, right?
Well, yeah. So, I mean, listen.
So I don't know if you could be arrogant.
They went to a Super Bowl. They won another one. They've been a very successful organization. So people aren't looking at the front office as the way they do things. It's the wrong way.
Well, no. But what I'm saying is that just because you've won doesn't necessarily mean that you should be arrogant that it's always our way is always going to be right. Right? Like you have to be able to adjust with the league as the league adjusts, right? The league's adjusting to you, so you need to come up with something. Like you always have to be understanding that your way might not be the right way. And that's why I get annoyed by the Eagles, because they do throw that in your face that we know, and we know because we've won this way. And I think that I don't necessarily think that's right. Here's one more example I'll give you, Mike. Look at the New England Patriots when they won all their Super Bowls. Every time that they won a Super Bowl, it was a different kind of team. It wasn't the same thing every time. Yeah. So Belichick and his group, they changed the way that the Patriots went into those seasons and the way that they played to get to the Super Bowl. Yes, Brady was a constant. And there were a couple other constants, but the style of play, 1 year it was a great defense. 1 year it was a great passing game. 1 year they ran the ball well. Like there was all different things, and they were able to be consistently good. The Eagles want you to believe that there's one way and it's their way, and that's it. That's why I get annoyed by it.
All right. I mean, that's fair. So where do you think this ends up? How do you think this is resolved? Will it be some young whippersnapper guy that they sell to you?
So
or how will it end up?
It could be that. And I would be okay with that. Like, I wouldn't be opposed to that. I'm okay if you think that this young guy coming in. We talked on the show last week about what was it, Charlie Weiss Jr. from Ole Miss, right?
Yeah.
As a possibility they would think about. Like, I would be fine with that.
You would be fine with a college OC coming in here.
If you firmly believe, because first of all, I don't think coaches, coordinators are so incredibly impactful. I think they can be somewhat impactful, but not to the point where you're killing a team. Like, I honestly don't think Kevin Petullo was a great coordinator, but I also don't think he was the reason that the offense struggled. There was a lot more that took place on the field, right? So the coordinator is fine. Or you go the other route, Mike. Or you go the other end, like they did on defense with Fangio, where you bring in a guy who's been around forever, who does not have head coaching aspirations, and just wants to help the team win.
How about this? There's all kinds of turmoil in Buffalo. We're going to get to a soundbite, which is really interesting, I think, from the owner. This owner is fascinating to me. But in any event, what if the Buffalo offensive coordinator shakes loose? Would you be okay with that? Joe Brady.
Yes,
there's a coaching change there now. There's upheaval. You never know if they're going to keep him. Can the Eagles come in and swoop down on him?
I would take him. I'd be fine with it. Here's the one that cracks me up, Mike, and it's from a commenter. Jason LCD. Is Frank Reich a real possibility?
No. It's a name that always comes up, and no, I don't want old retread. God, I want somebody innovative. I've come to grips with this. Like, they're not going to get an experienced guy. That was the notion at first, was you have to get an experienced guy that has autonomy, and you give him the offense, and that's the way you change it. Well, they're not going to do that now. So it's got to be some young gun that they believe has that kind of Andy Reid potential.
Yeah, but here's the other thing with that.
It may be Charlie Weiss. They could sell him to this fan base.
Here's the other thing with that, Mike. If you find that guy, and let's say the guy comes in and offense next year is humming and it's going really well or whatever, but the team still has, it doesn't quite get to its end goal. It doesn't quite get to the championship. It gets knocked out maybe in the second round instead of the first round. Is that young whippersnapper, up and coming prospect of a coach? Is everybody now saying that guy needs to replace Nick Sirianni?
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
Would you be afraid of that? I would have no fear of that if he wanted to replace Nick Sirianni if he does well. If he does well, Sirianni's not going to lose his job.
Well, it depends. Like I just said,
it depends. If the guy's successful, Sirianni's still the head coach.
The offense improves to the point where it's averaging, 25 points a game. You still win 11 games and win the division, but you lose in the first round again.
So losing in the first round, just like what would happen to Sean McDermott in Buffalo, you lose that game, boom, you're out.
Right. Like what? So at that point, do you sit there and go, hey, we like this young offensive coordinator we brought in. Does he replace Nick? Like, are you making the situation there a little bit more comfortable as opposed to going with a guy who's been around who maybe does not have head coaching aspirations again?
All right. I don't know how this is going to end up. It's interesting. It's not a dilemma at per se, but it is interesting the way this is plodding along. That they're going to. But I'm guarantee you, they're going to find a guy that we don't know anything about, and they're going to sell him like they sold others in the past. That they're smart enough, their intelligence is so high level that we found our guy.
And that's when I roll my eyes. That's when I roll my eyes. Like, all right.
Let's move on to more in the NFL. Let's talk about this Buffalo situation.
Yeah, that's great.
Because Terry Pegula is the owner. His daughter's a professional tennis player, by the way.
Yes.
And it's Penn State. He endowed the hockey rink there. He's big in the hockey program at Penn State University.
Also owns the Buffalo Sabres.
Owns the Sabres.
Yeah.
Owns the Bills. Getting his new stadium built. I don't know how he made his money, but he's got a ton of it. And he doesn't speak to the media normally. So for 6 years, he hasn't spoken to the media. So he felt obliged to address the media on why he fired Sean McDermott. And, we can boil this down to that one play where it looked like a reception and turned into an interception. But that's one of the one play that made them lose that game. Let's go. Let's listen to what the owner had to say about the aftermath of this season and why he fired Sean McDermott.
Give me 1 second. I have to hit play.
My decision to bring in a new coach was based on the results of our game in Denver. I want to take you in the locker room after that game. I looked around. First thing I noticed was our quarterback with his head down, crying. I looked at all the other players. I looked at their faces and our coaches. I walked over to Josh. He didn't even acknowledge I was there. First thing I said to him, I said, "That was a catch." We all know what I'm talking about. He didn't acknowledge me. He just sat there sobbing. He was listless. He had given everything he had to try to win that game. And looking around, so did all the other players on the team. I saw the pain in Josh's face at his presser, and I felt his pain. I know we can do better, and I know we will get better. My decision to bring in.
So that's it, Mike.
All right. So interestingly, he's on one hand, he says that he lost his job because of the results of that Denver game. On the other hand, he said it was a catch. That he went up to the quarterback and said that was a catch. So in other words, he blamed the play, but he said the play was called wrong anyway. What was your read on that?
On the play or on what he said?
On what Pagula had to say.
Mike, I thought that what the entirety of this whole situation with the Buffalo Bills was a masterclass in how not to fire a coach. Excuse me. Yeah, I really just thought that they mishandled it from the jump. And to sit there and say that you made a determination to fire the coach because your quarterback was upset in the locker room.
And that's the funny thing. Everybody is going to be, if you're a professional athlete, you take that loss hard. So it's not like it's unusual that he's going to see guys that are emotionally distraught.
Correct.
You know?
Right. And so that's what I mean. Like, it shows me that the owner is not plugged into.
All he had to say was, listen, we've had some playoff failures and we just thought we needed a new voice. And end of story. Basically, that's a legitimate reason to fire a coach, right? It's been done all up through the NFL.
Here's the other thing. Did you see about their press release when they announced that they were letting
I did not see the press release, no.
There was a typo. First of all, the word that they were trying to use, I thought was misguided, but then the typo made it worse. So they said that Sean McDermott, and they meant to say, did an admirable job as coach. Now, he took that team from the basement, right? Mm-hmm. Won 5 divisions, got them on the doorstep of a Super Bowl. Yes, they didn't get there, but like it was really good. But instead of saying admirable, they just wrote that he was admiral. He's an admiral.
He was admiral.
He was admiral.
Well, he's going back into the Navy, apparently. Sportman says, watching owner clips like that make anyone feel grateful that we have Laurie? What? Grateful? Laurie didn't say anything.
Yeah,
Would I be grateful when Laurie speaks?
Yeah, no, I don't know.
Mike gave a legitimate reason on why he had to fire McDermott. They lost that game to Denver. He made a decision because they lost the game. Had they won the game, Sean McDermott still would have been the coach.
Yeah,
but he also says they got hosed. So if you got hosed, then the head coach shouldn't take the shrapnel for it.
Right, that's my point. So that's why I think it's Mickey Mouse, right? Like you walk in there and you say, "Oh, well, we lost that game and everybody was so disappointed. I had to make a change, but we got screwed." Well, then you don't have to make the change.
Exactly.
If you feel like you're screwed, don't make the change.
Yes, exactly. All right, Ant, let's go to the conference championship games this weekend.
Yes.
And we have a very interesting situation because it looked like Denver was rolling along, and lo and behold, Bo Nix, second to last play, breaks his ankle, out for the season, and backup Jarrett Stidham will now be the quarterback for the Broncos. The Patriots go into Denver as a 4.5-point favorite in this game. And I think that line is a little short. I think Stidham's going to play well and make that a close game. How about you?
Well, I don't know if he's going to play well, but I think the Broncos defense is good enough to keep it close. Mike, my pre-playoff prediction was the Rams and the Broncos. I can't stick with the Broncos at this point. I can't.
You're off the Broncos because of the backup quarterback factor.
I just can't.
Listen, if he manages the game, and doesn't turn it over, can the Broncos win at home? Yeah, certainly they can.
I mean, they can. I think
the Broncos may shake up the world here.
I hope you're right.
You got a very crafty head coach who's going to prepare this kid not to make mistakes. Check downs, running game primarily. It's a very, very safe passes. I don't think he's going to let the kid go wild.
It would make for a much more interesting Super Bowl to have that storyline.
Yeah.
Then here are the Patriots again.
Yeah, I hear you. I think the Patriots are going to win too. So don't forget what I just said. Second game, Rams at the Seahawks, 2.5. The Seahawks favored. How you feel about this one?
That line is a Rams line in my mind.
It is slight Rams line. Yes,
it's a slight Rams line. Boy, the Seattle looked good last week. Boy, did that defense look good. And the Rams, to their credit, played a good game against Chicago, but they almost lost that game too. I might have to come off my pre-playoff prediction, and I'm going to go with the Seahawks here.
You're going to take the Seahawks?
Yeah,
their quarterback hasn't beaten the Rams, I don't think.
No, he hasn't. That defense. I said a couple weeks ago that this playoffs was going to be all about defense, and I think one of the teams that gets into the Super Bowl has to be a defensive team. So I'm going to go with the Seahawks. I think Seahawks.
You think Darnold's going to come up big?
Big enough.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about that game. I'm going to withhold my prediction for a while. By the way, speaking of the first game with the backup quarterback, how about Nick Foles trolling?
That was tremendous.
Nick Foles, they struggle against backup quarterbacks. Is that a dick move or not?
I love it. I think it's great.
It's kind of a dick move, don't you think?
A little bit, but it's all right. It's one of those dick moves you go, it's all right. That's good on him.
It's kind of a dick move. And by the way, Super Bowl Entertainment was announced. Did you check this?
Well, we know
who's doing
Bad Bunny, right?
The halftime show is at Bad Bunny.
Yeah.
Pre-game show. You know who's doing it?
No, I didn't. I missed this.
Green Day coming up here for a pre-game show.
Really?
So they threw some punk rockers type it, and it to balance the Bad Bunny thing for the pregame, so it satisfies everybody's taste. Guess who is singing the America the Beautiful? Brandy Carlisle.
Oh,
taking her out to sing America the Beautiful.
That's a good
National anthem will be sung by Charlie Puth.
Wow.
And Coco Jones, Lift Every Voice and Sing. There's your lineup. Your entertainment lineup.
It's not a bad entertainment lineup. Mike, I saw Green Day at at Woodstock 94.
Oh, you did? Well, they were that was their infancy, wasn't it?
They were in the mud. If you remember, it rained, pouring rain.
It was early on in Green Day's career.
Yeah, I was up there for that mess.
Were you a Green Day fan?
A little bit. I mean, I had barely known them. I listened to Yeah, I liked them. I mean, that was Dookie had just come out. That album.
That album was very. And I was never a Green Day guy, so I'll probably skip the pregame. Yeah, but I'm looking forward to Bad Bunny.
Well, a lot of people are. I think
Bad Bunny.
It'd be interesting to see what how that plays. So,
all right, let's take our first break, Ant, of the show. Winners win, Ant, and Wapner Newman has been winning for families throughout Philadelphia area and New Jersey since 1978. If you need a winner, just call Wapner Newman 215-569-0900 or check them out online at wapnernewman.com. That's WAPNERNEWMAN.com. It is the On Pattison podcast with me, Mike Missanelli, and Anthony Sanfilippo. Back after this.
Men's store is located in historic Doylestown. For casual clothing in denim to business suits and tuxedos, Ventresca Limited has a large selection you have to see to believe. The experienced and knowledgeable sales staff can show you the many brand labels that have made Ventresca Limited in Doylestown a must for men concerned about their image. Select from Canali, Brax Jeans, Hickey Freeman, Johnson Murphy Footwear, and much more. Custom alterations are free. Visit Ventresca Limited on the web at ventresca.com.
A flawless occasion begins at the Capitol Grill. From the moment you step into the Capitol Grill, located in the heart of Center City, the experience is one of comfortable elegance. Whether you're looking to host a private affair, a perfect lunch stop, or dinner destination, start your occasion at the Capitol Grill today. Visit thecapitolgrill.com or call 215-545-9588. That's 215-545-9588 for the Capitol Grill, Center City.
This is Tommy Green from the 1993 National League champion Phillies. Every champion needs a good game plan. BCWSA and I want to make sure you have a game plan when it comes to conserving our most precious resource, water. Whether you're washing dishes, brushing your teeth, or watering your garden, there are ways you can save water and save money. Visit bcwsa.net for tips on conserving water. BCWSA, proven.
Your day-to-day life is hectic between having to pick up the kids, make dinner, the countless other tasks that you got to get done. Rob's Automotive and Collision is there to make your life a whole lot easier. Make sure you take advantage of their spacious waiting rooms, the large flat-screen TVs, complimentary coffee and muffins, and free Wi-Fi. So even when you do have to stop, Rob's is there to make you feel right at home. Give Rob's a call today at 215-826-9200 for any of your auto repair needs.
It is the On Pattison podcast with Mike Missanelli and Anthony Sanfilippo. Let's talk some baseball issues, Dan.
Yeah.
The Bo Bichette issue still hanging over our heads like a bad cloud. They lost out on him. They made him a pretty good offer, man. I have to say that. But the Phillies not wanting to give any opt-outs in their contracts. They prefer to go long-term contract, no opt-outs. He went with the short money, well, not short money, but $42 million a year. A contract was a 3-year contract with 2 opt-out years. So I don't know. We can blame the Phillies, but immediately they pivot and sign JT Realmuto, probably at a cost that was a little more than they wanted to pay him. So what was your spin on how this all shook out?
I'll tell you, Mike, that press conference was weird. We did it over Zoom, and it was JT, and it was Dave Dombrowski, Rob Thompson, Preston Mattingly was on there as well, although nobody asked him any questions. And it was just odd. Like you got a sense that neither side was really thrilled, but yet here we are again, that these two are together. And I thought it most interesting when Dombrowski was asked directly about Bichette, that he said it was a gut punch.
Yep.
Like, I appreciate the honesty. Like, you should all appreciate the honesty of the man.
Yeah.
For giving you that answer. But what does that say as you're sitting here on a press conference talking about signing JT Realmuto, when Dombrowski also said as part of the same press conference that if they got Bichette, they weren't signing Realmuto. Like he said, there's no way we could have. He said, I contacted JT's agent and told him that, we couldn't do both. And we thought we were really close on getting the other deal done. And so maybe they have to look at other options. And then it falls through. And then you sit in here on this press conference for JT Realmuto and say, yeah, Bichette not signing with us. It's a gut punch. You see what I'm saying?
Is that a slight? You're saying that's a slight to JT?
I think it is, in a sense. Like, I don't think it was meant as a slight. Like, if you're asking Dave Dombrowski with all honesty, if did you mean that? Did you mean to that to be a slight? He's going to say no. I was just reacting to what the moment was like when we found out we were not getting Bo Bichette. But do not translate that into a slight for JT Realmuto. But that's what it was. Like, we're sitting here and JT saying, yeah, man, like there were a few hours there where I thought I was going to have to be playing somewhere else. And man, catchers just don't get enough respect. In
Yeah,
this
he
league
said they're
anymore.
undervalued. He got a point, except the problem is the catchers, no catchers hit. So this is an offensive game, and even if you're a good defensive catcher, you're still going to get harangued for not being a good offensive player. Now, he's a better offensive player than most catchers, but I don't think they're undervalued because none of them really hit.
Yeah, it's a tough call, right? Because he tries to equate catching to being a quarterback. And I get it because but baseball's a backwards sport in the sense that the defense has the ball, right? And not the offense. And so in that regard, yes, the catcher is the guy calling pitches and making sure the defense is set in the right places to try and prevent runs. So it's an incredibly, incredibly important position. And I think that a lot of that stuff, the preparation work with starting pitchers and how they're going to attack the other team, I think that is incredibly undervalued. That said, guy's making $15 million a year. Like, that's a lot of money.
Yeah, I don't know if he was saying in general catchers are undervalued or he was undervalued, because he certainly signed a contract that would not suggest that it's undervalued.
Yeah, no, I think he's suggesting that catchers are, and that
he's sticking up for his brethren.
Right. If he's at the top of the market and he makes a dollar figure that's a little bit higher, that means that the rest of the catchers will make a little bit more.
Now, here's the beauty of this. Bichette opts out after 1 year with the Mets. The Phillies can sign him.
Correct. And the Mets would be left holding the bag for $95 million, Mike. It would be 42 for his salary for Bichette, a $5 million buyout because he declines the option, right? And then the luxury tax penalty, it would add up to $95 million for 1 year of Bo Bichette.
Yeah, but Bichette's playing with a pretty good team. The Mets now signed a couple of guys. They signed got him in a trade, Louis Robert Jr., and they got Freddie Peralta for their staff. Are the Mets a legitimate threat to the Phillies, who, by the way, the Phillies, we're going to talk about this in a second, them running it back. Rob Thompson pulled up against that running it back notion, saying we changed about 25% of our team. Yeah. But in any event, are the Mets a big threat to the Phillies right now?
I don't think they're a big threat. I think that they're, in the last couple days, adding Bichette, or week, adding Bichette, Robert, and Peralta certainly probably makes them a little bit better than last year. But they did lose a lot, Mike. They lost a lot of good players, and Peralta will help the rotation along with the kid Nolan McLean, who came up last year. Yeah, really good starter. But beyond that, they don't have a lot of starting pitching. I don't like their bullpen at all.
Well, their infield looks pretty good, though.
Is it?
Wow. Is it not?
They can't play defensively. You got two guys playing out of position there.
Simeon's a Gold Glover.
Lindor's a Gold Glover.
And so is Simeon.
Yeah, all right, but he can't hit anymore.
He had a good year last year. Simeon.
No, Simeon was down on 6 PS, 670, 660.
Really?
Yeah, it was down.
I don't know. I think they're pretty good in the infield.
And then you got two guys out of position, and Jorge Polanco's never really played first base, and now he's going to play first base. And Bichette's never played third. I don't know. I think they're a better team than they were a year ago, the Mets, but I'm not certain that they're I think the Braves are more of a contender to the Phillies than the Mets are.
All right, let's go into the deep issue of this free agency.
Yeah,
because Kyle Tucker signed for just an obscene amount of money, and it's gotten ridiculous now how much the Dodgers spend. They don't even care.
Yeah.
Now with what the Dodgers are doing, now owners are up in arms saying, we need a salary cap. We need it now. This collective bargaining agreement ends this December. Are we headed for a shutdown of baseball? Because that's the only way they're going to get a salary cap, if they shut down the game for a significant period of time, by the way.
Yeah, and I think it would, if they are hell-bent on getting a salary cap, it's going to be a significant period of time, because the players are going to hold out on their end. Like, they're not going to.
This could be a 2-year holdout.
They're not going to.
This is the issue that no way players are going to give them a salary cap. So It's like, who can outlast the other?
Right. That's what it's going to come down to. It really will come down to how long can you go without baseball. whether you're an owner or whether you're a player or you're the Players Association. How long can you go without the game?
How do you feel about a salary cap? I'm going to
not
tell you right now, I don't like it.
I'm not a
I
fan.
like it in other sports. I don't like it in baseball.
I'm not a fan. I think that the way baseball operates, it's such a different animal in how. I mean, keep in mind, in every other sport, when you draft players, you can draft whoever from wherever in the world. In baseball, you can't, right? So you have to start throwing money at guys, international players, when they're 16 years old, right? And they're going to be coming in, and yes, there's they're only making a certain contract or whatever, but you got to really account for the fact that the money that you are paying them. Now, how crazy is that going to get? Like, let's say you put a salary cap in place. Does the international bonus pool money now, is that going to go up? So now you can start throwing millions and millions of dollars at these players when they're teenagers. Like, I don't know. I don't know what that would equate to.
The other
Baseball's
part of it
weird
is
that way.
I kind of like the idea of the villain. Now,
Well, yeah.
I like the fact that the Dodgers are the villain, that they have the most money. I like the fact the Yankees are the villain because they spend the most money. I like that kind of thing where you can clip those guys and put them back down to earth.
Yeah, I'm with you, Mike. And when we were younger, that's when you had more dynastic teams, right? Like, and everybody wanted to beat those teams.
Yeah.
And that was fun. Like,
Yeah.
let's go beat that team.
And let's face it, the Phillies aren't the Pirates where
Right.
they're going to struggle. They spend money. So we're in a city where this team, our team, spends money and can play with the Dodgers and play with the Yankees.
I said it. I've said it all week, Mike. The Phillies right now are tied with the Seattle Mariners, which I don't understand because they've had a terrible offseason, for the third best odds to win the World Series.
Oh, there you go.
Behind the Dodgers.
So,
and
as
the Yankees.
Dave Dombrowski says, they're a good club.
They're
So
contenders.
are we satisfied this notion of they're running it back? They
I
re-signed Schwarber. They made a change in right field. They made a change in the center field. They made a change in their bullpen a little bit. They did change a little bit. So is it fair to say they're running it back? Or what makes this team more viable than they were?
So the only thing I will say, and I think they are mostly running it back. I know Rob came out and said, well, we're changing over 25% of the team. If you count Otto Kemp, which he mentioned his name, you're talking about changing 7 of the 26 guys from the
He counts
opening day
Durant
roster.
too, I guess, right? He counts
Right.
Durant as the new player.
Yeah, I guess Duran
Yeah.
Duran would be considered new as well, right?
Yeah.
But it, with that exception, with other than really Duran, like who is a high impact change?
No, nobody's a high impact change, Ian. But I look at the Phillies. I agree with Dombrowski that they're a good team.
I do too.
They're still a very good team that is going to be a contender. Now we don't know. We have this mindset in Philadelphia where they haven't done it in the postseason, so therefore that's never going to be done in the postseason. It could just as easily turn around for them in the postseason.
Yes.
They're a good team. You get some breaks in the postseason, like everybody does. Your pitching holds up in the postseason. You can still win it.
Yeah, I'm with you. The only thing that I think is a look. I look at this team and I say they have a really good starting staff. They have a improved bullpen. I always will take a team that has really good pitching and holes in their lineup. Like I will always take that team to be good, and that's what the Phillies are. But I think the lineup is just you don't have that other bat. You need one more bat to go. Okay, and I'm not even sure Bo Bichette would have been that guy. It would have just created a different look to the team. But they still, in somewhere along the way here, and maybe it's the trade deadline, need to find another impact bat for this lineup because after your top 3, it gets really uninspiring.
Well, I'd like to see who that might be. By the way, the Phillies lost a free agent this week. We used to know him as Ranger Suarez. It's really funny because I enjoy Spanish a lot, and I've tried to speak it and study it. And when I first saw it, I said, well, they anglicized his name because really it should be pronounced Ron Her.
Yeah.
So I thought Ranger was a way that they anglicized his name throughout all these years. But his name really is Ron Her.
Yes.
Ron Her Sanchez.
Ron
Suarez.
Harris Sanchez is correct. Yeah. Suarez is correct. And the funny thing is that somebody up in Boston, they introduced him up in Boston, right? With the Red Sox. And someone asked him about his name. I think like the question was like, how did you get named Ranger? And his response was, well, it's really Ron Hare. And but I'm okay with you guys using the Americanized version of it. And we were all like, we've been calling him the wrong name for 8 years.
It's funny. He's okay with everybody using the Americanized version, but he said it in Spanish. Which cracks me up. All right. And on the other side, we're going to talk about the Hall of Fame, who got in, and what Phillies did very well. And I'm going to make a case that a certain Philly is getting hosed every year, not being in the Hall of Fame. And I know you have the opposite opinion, but I think this guy is a sure Hall of Famer. I'm going to prove it with numbers.
Okay.
It is the On Pattison podcast with Mike Missinelli, Anthony Sanfilippo. We're back after this.
Hi, it's Pete from Chicky and Pete's. Warm up this fall with an incredible seafood boil. Try the Uncle George with succulent snow crabs, tasty mussels, and shrimp. There's the Pete's Feast with 2 pounds of sweet succulent crab legs, a dozen shrimp, clams, and a pound of mussels. Or create your own boil. Add a lobster tail or a delicious Dungeness cluster. Include smoked sausage, corn, and potatoes, served in our tasty broth, made with white wine and our signature seasonings. A shellfish lover's dream at Chickies and Pete's.
The Peruzzi Automotive Group on Business Route 1 in Fairless Hills is looking for auto techs, all skill levels. Here's a chance to work for a locally owned family business that offers many benefits. For more information, call the service director, John Damarotis, at 215-943-6200. That's 215-943-6200, or visit any Peruzzi service department.
Are you living with relentless pain? St. Mary has a new way to help. Knee and hip replacements with a smarter process for faster recovery, earning prestigious awards for quality and value. A rapid recovery program has you walking just hours after surgery, and breakthrough advances such as custom-fit joints position you for a longer pain-free life. 215-710-5888. St. Mary Orthopedics. It's your health. Expect more.
Think banking hasn't changed? Think again. At Penn Community Bank, we've been helping communities thrive for 150 years. From our nationally recognized Access Checking that offers the peace of mind of no overdrafts, to student and free checking plus options with perks that will make you wonder what you did without them, like early direct deposit, overdraft grace, and Zelle. Learn more at PennCommunityBank.com/products. Penn Community Bank. Here we grow. Account and feature terms, restrictions, and conditions apply. Ask for full details. Member FDIC.
All righty, it's the On Pattison podcast. Mike Missinelli, Anthony Sanfilippo. Carlos Beltran, Andrew Jones make it into the Hall of Fame. You okay with that? Both of them?
I'm certainly okay with Andrew Jones. I really am. I thought he was the best defensive baseball player of my lifetime, and that includes Ozzie Smith. As great as Ozzie Smith was as a defensive shortstop, the way Andrew Jones played center field was like nothing I've ever seen. Beltran, I'm fine with statistically, but Mike, here's where I have an issue, right?
Cheating scandal in there, don't you?
Well, so here's the thing. If we're going to be gatekeepers and not let the Barry Bondses and the Roger Clemens and the Alex Rodriguez of the world in for their version of cheating, if we're not going to let Pete Rose and Joe Jackson in for their version of cheating, why is it okay to put Carlos Beltran in for his version of cheating? Like that to me is like, if you're going to let one in, then you got to let them all in.
Steroid cheating and what he did a little different, though, don't you think?
Ask Max Kepler. How did steroids help him?
Well, I get it, but most of the guys we're talking about, the steroids helped them immeasurably to get Hall of Fame credentials. All right, anyway, I'm okay with Beltran and Andrew Jones. I usually have a beef with somebody going in like Jeff Kent. I have a beef with. I don't think he belongs in there. But there were 4 Phillies that were up.
Yes.
And they all did well in the voting. And the leader, the guy who did the best was Chase Utley. He got over 50% of the votes. Jimmy Rollins got less than Bobby Abreu. And then Cole Hamels did okay for his first time, like 25% of the vote on his first ballot. And somebody made a comparison about Cole Hamels and CeCe Sabathia, who's in the Hall of Fame, that Cole Hamels' numbers are better than CC's.
They are.
So how many of those Phillies get in? Because I believe that Jimmy Rollins is getting completely hosed.
How many get in? Now, so let me make you ask me the question.
You think Utley is the next guy to get in?
Well, I was going to make you ask me a question a different way.
Go ahead.
Are you asking me how many ultimately get in, or how many get in by the baseball writers' vote?
How many ultimately get in?
3.
3.
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Who gets in?
I think it's Utley gets in by the writers, and I think that could happen as soon as next year. And if not next year, then definitely 28. And I think both Jimmy Rollins and Cole Hamels will be put in down the line by one of these era committees, because they'll get close enough or be highly considered by their teammates and by their peers to get in. I think those
2 questions. Number 1, is Utley a Hall of Famer? Because I don't believe he is.
I have been so on the fence with Utley for so long. I have always erred on the side of no, he's not, because it just wasn't. He had injuries hurt him, right? If he had not been injured and not had the problems that he had, I think he would have been surefire. And I think that there's a shift in the way that the writers vote now, that they consider the peak years more important than the totality of the career. So if you can have that 5, 6, 7 years where you're sensational, even if you play 15 and your other 8 years are mediocre, they're going to put you in.
The way I look at it, it's a shame that he got hurt. But my eyes don't even pop open unless you got 2,000 hits for Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
And he doesn't have 2,000 hits.
Yeah. I agree.
Jimmy Rollins does, though. So let's get to this question. Why don't you think Jimmy Rollins belongs in by a vote?
So I think Jimmy Rollins, when you look at his numbers, his counting stats are pretty good, especially when you compare him to shortstops that are in the Hall of Fame.
Mm-hmm.
But when you compare him to just hitters in general, position players in general, this is where I think he falls really short, Mike, because he didn't have like successive great seasons. He had a great season. He had an okay season. He had a down year. He had an okay, and he bounced back. It was a little bit more fluctuation. Like for Utley, at least you can look at a stretch of games or stretch of seasons from like 05 to 10 and go best second baseman in the sport. Jimmy Rollins would have one great season and say, okay, MVP, which he probably didn't even deserve. Matt Holliday probably deserved it that year. And well, I'm just saying,
Jimmy must not have been nice to you. Was Jimmy not nice to you?
I love Jimmy Rollins. Rollins.
Let me compare him to the ultimate player. Let me compare him to the ultimate shortstop in the Hall of Fame, Ozzie Smith.
Yeah.
All right. Hits. He's got 5 less than Ozzie Smith.
Yes.
He's got almost 200 home runs more than Ozzie Smith. He's got a better batting average. He's scored more runs. He has more RBIs. He doesn't have as many stolen bases. His on-base percentage is right there with Ozzie Smith. He's got a better slug and a better OPS. Why is he not in the Hall of Fame and Ozzie Smith is? And to boot, he's got a better fielding percentage than the Wizard.
You know who else he's better than that's in the Hall of Fame at that position?
Who's that?
Phil Rizzuto.
Okay, yeah. Well, obviously, Phil Rizzuto has terrible numbers for the Hall of Fame.
So Jimmy Rollins.
Let's take the ultimate guy. Ozzie Smith is the ultimate guy. Jimmy's numbers are better than Ozzie Smith's.
Yeah. So, and a lot of people compare Jimmy Rollins to Barry Larkin, but Barry Larkin's numbers are better than Jimmy Rollins. My argument against that, Mike, is that just because guys have been put into the Hall of Fame before doesn't mean that they were the right guys to get put in. And so you shouldn't just then add people to the Hall of Fame because they made a mistake in the past. Like, that's the way I look at it. And I know Ozzie Smith's a great defensive shortstop.
If I'm a voter, I look at the numbers of Ozzie Smith. I look at Jimmy Rollins. I go, how can I not vote Jimmy Rollins in for the Hall of Fame? I just don't understand it.
But look at the numbers for Ozzie Smith, and then look at Larry Bowa. I mean, they're not far off. Would you put Larry Bowa in the Hall of Fame?
I would put Larry Bowa in the Hall of Fame.
Okay.
Again, you're comparing shortstops here. So if your numbers are in line with shortstops that are in the Hall of Fame, how are you not in the Hall of Fame?
Well, the other thing is I think you have to compare them to the shortstops of your era. And so if you look at the shortstops that were playing when Jimmy Rollins was playing, you have Alex Rodriguez, you have Miguel Tejada, you have Nomar Garciaparra, you have Derek Jeter, you have guys who were sensational shortstops that are more Hall of Fame caliber in that era than Jimmy Rollins was. And so how many are you going to put in? If Jimmy Rollins might be the 6th best shortstop of his era out of 28 teams or whatever it is at that point. Is that, all right, top 25%, get in. Like, let everybody in.
I think Jimmy gets hosed. It's time for a break. If you find yourself on the injured list, you got to get help right now. Call Wapner Newman, PA, and Wapner Newman, NJ, premier medical malpractice and injury attorneys at 215-569-0900, or just check them out online at wapnernewman.com. On Pattison Podcast continues with a little more Sixer chat and Anthony's Flyer report coming up. Oh, tough. The Mammoth took them apart last night. So, come on, Ant.
What an ending. What an ending.
All right, we'll talk about that after this.
A flawless occasion begins at the Capitol Grill. From the moment you step into the Capitol Grill, located in the heart of Center City, the experience is one of comfortable elegance. Whether you're looking to host a private affair, a perfect lunch stop, or dinner destination, start your occasion at the Capitol Grill today. Visit thecapitolgrill.com or call 215-545-9588. That's 215-545-9588 for the Capitol Grill, Center City.
Ventresca Limited, the Delaware Valley men's store, is located in historic Doylestown. For casual clothing in denim to business suits and tuxedos, Ventresca Limited has a large selection you have to see to believe. The experienced and knowledgeable sales staff can show you the many brand labels that have made Ventresca Limited in Doylestown a must for men concerned about their image. Select from Canali, Brax Jeans, Hickey Freeman, Johnson Murphy Footwear, and much more. Custom alterations are free. Visit Ventresca Limited on the web at ventresca.com.
Your day-to-day life is hectic between having to pick up the kids, make dinner, the countless other tasks that you got to get done. Rob's Automotive and Collision is there to make your life a whole lot easier. Make sure you take advantage of their spacious waiting rooms, the large flat-screen TVs, complimentary coffee and muffins, and free Wi-Fi. So even when you do have to stop, Rob's is there to make you feel right at home. Give Rob's a call today at 215-826-9200 for any of your auto repair needs.
Hi, it's Pete from Chicky and Pete's. Warm up this fall with an incredible seafood boil. Try the Uncle George with succulent snow crabs, tasty mussels, and shrimp. There's the Pete's Feast with 2 pounds of sweet succulent crab legs, a dozen shrimp, clams, and a pound of mussels. Or create your own boil. Add a lobster tail or a delicious Dungeness cluster. Include smoked sausage, corn, and potatoes, served in our tasty broth, made with white wine and our signature seasonings. A shellfish lover's dream at Chickies and Pete's.
All right, it's the On Pattison Podcast. Mike Missinelli. You see, we have somebody bragging about their Spanish online here. Ford. Yo hablo español. Estudié en escuela para 6 años. Which means he speaks Spanish and he studied in school for 6 years.
That's good. Look at you, Mike, translating that. Good stuff.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I could do it every now and then. One question before we get to the Sixers and the Flyers here.
Yeah.
Dombrowski not giving opt-outs in contracts, is that too old school a philosophy in this day and age to get great players?
I'm not sure if it's too old school yet. It may get there. I mean, there's a lot of teams that won't do this. Phillies are just one of many. But if the teams like the Dodgers and the Mets and then ultimately the Yankees and any other team that you consider a big money team, Toronto, San Francisco Giants try to be big money team. Like if any of these teams really start doing it and it starts to prevent you from being competitive for the best players, then you might have to suck it up and do it. But I think we'll know a lot more after the new CBA, whenever that is, whether it's next year, 2 years from now, whenever they finally come to an agreement. I think we'll have a better understanding of where the financials are in baseball. And at that point, the Phillies can make a decision one way or the other if they need to do them or not.
All right. By the way, Jay Sportman said, "Whoa, are you saying Ozzy shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame?" No. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying
I think he's saying that.
he is in the Hall of
me.
Fame. I'm saying if he's in the Hall of Fame, why isn't Jimmy Rollins?
Yeah, I think he's saying that to me. And again, my argument is it's more about your era, right? So in Ozzie Smith's era, the shortstop was a defensive player, and so so if you were a decent hitter and you were great defensively, like Ozzie Smith, that's why you're in the Hall. But you can't compare Jimmy Rollins' more modern day numbers and say, well, compare them to Ozzie Smith, who played in an era where shortstops didn't have to do that. And that's why I say you can't do that. Yeah.
All right, I got you. Let's talk Sixers, and we'll get to your Flyers report on what happened last night.
Yeah.
Tyrese Maxey, all-star starter. Now, did you see who's starting along with him?
I didn't.
Three other guards and Giannis. How do you have a team with 4 guards starting on your all-star first team?
Because at the all-star game, it doesn't matter, right? I guess there's nobody.
I guess Jaylen Brown, Jalen Brunson, Cade Cunningham, Tyrese Maxey, and Giannis Antetokounmpo are your starters. Did they get it right? Maxey deserves to be an all-star starter.
Yes, Maxey's been such a pleasant surprise for the Eastern Conference this year. I think that they probably got it right. The East is weird this year, Mike.
It is weird.
It's just a weird year because there's star players missing left, right, and center. Like, yeah. I mean, it sounds like Giannis he's a little bit too much drama for me, but he's still a great player. I don't know who else would you have considered putting in to that lineup that's not there.
I'm going to predict that Giannis won't be a Milwaukee Buck within the next month.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I think it's going to happen. Anyway, the Sixers are kind of hanging in there. They lose, they win, they lose. They lost 2 to Cleveland back-to-back, and then they came back with a win. This is an interesting stat. First of all, they can't win at home, and they play tonight at home. I actually bet them tonight.
Okay.
I bet them getting 2 points against the Houston Rockets. Is that a good bet?
I think so.
You like them to win tonight?
Yeah. I mean, coming off the last game on Tuesday where they lost to Phoenix.
Embiid and George will probably play tonight. They rested them in the game against Phoenix.
Right. Yeah, I think this is a good matchup. So yeah, that's a good bet. I'm with you. I'm with you on this.
All right, here's the stat. First of all, the stat: Joel Embiid's been turning the ball over at a rapid rate, and I know people are satisfied with the way he's played. He turns the ball over like crazy anymore. The Sixers have played 25 clutch games. You know, they measure this stat of clutch games. That's where the margin is 5 points or less with 5 minutes remaining. They have lost 12 of them, including 3 in a row. What does that say? They can't finish.
Right. No, you're spot on. You're spot on with that. Here's the other thing, Mike, that I I'm going to give Bob Cooney credit on this because he's a guy that kind of approached this story the other night. You know, when you're resting Embiid and George like they are, you know, when they're not playing, whatever the case might be, they're counting on Maxey for almost the entire game. He played 42 minutes on Tuesday night, right? Yep. And then afterwards, you know, Bob was talking to him, and Maxey says, you know, hey, I think I'm just a little bit tired. You know, he's worn out. Like, so you're putting a lot of pressure. And I know he's younger. He's 25. Like, he should be able to play all the time. I'm not trying to say that he shouldn't play every game, but you got to find in an 82 game season, you got to find a way to not wear out your best player. You just got. Yeah. So I think that's important. I think Nick Nurse needs to look at that going forward and say, can we find times when we can get him down to maybe 35, 36 minutes and not play him 42 to 44 per game?
Gotcha. But they're just not, when he's out of the lineup, they're just not the same.
I understand.
He's got to be on the floor for them. All right, Ant. By the way, Tyrese got his own New Balance shoe now. Got the Tyrese Maxey shoe.
Good for him.
I have not seen it. I'm sure it's got nice style to it.
Let me ask you this question.
Yeah.
Since he's come back, like I thought Kelly Oubre has played pretty well since he's come back.
Yeah, I'm not a fan.
Well, all right. Whether you're a fan or you're not a fan, what's the best role for him on this team?
Off the bench.
You think so? As opposed to like you'd rather that and keep a guy like Barlow in the starting lineup?
Yep.
Okay.
I always like there's one guy that doesn't need the ball. I like that balance. I like that kind of floor balance.
That makes sense.
So yeah, I would have Barlow in there.
Yeah, he could.
All right,
like,
Ant.
Barlow can concentrate on like the hustle plays, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Just like the old days when the Sixers went with Mark Ivoroni back in the day, and Bobby Jones. Bobby Jones always finished the game. And Larry Brown would do that too with his teams.
Yeah.
All right, the Ant Flyer report. Ant, got to take it away. They beat the Las Vegas Knights in a good snapback game, 2-1, and then they give it up to the Mammoth last night. Talk to me.
Had a 3-0 lead in that game, Mike. Mammoth got within a goal, then they scored another goal, and they're up 4-2, and it's later in the third period. You're thinking, all right, all I got to do here is just hold on. Then they get involved. There was a chippy play, and Noah Juleson gets punched in the mouth, and he retaliates. They only see the retaliation, of course, as always. And they give up a goal. Now it's 4-3, and things are getting close. And then, just hold on. And then Garnet Hathaway has a breakaway, Mike, on an empty net. Oh, the Flyers are going to win. It's going to be 2 in a row on a tough road trip. This will be a nice bounce back from them after the 6-game losing streak. And he never gets the shot off because he gets caught from behind, because he just doesn't. He felt like he needed to get closer to the net instead of just shooting it when he had it. I mean, he was there. Just shoot it. You win the game. He doesn't. Travis Sanheim makes a bad defensive play. They tie the game with a minute to go. They go into overtime. Travis Konechny turns the puck over in a 3-on-3 overtime, which is forbidden. Like when you have the puck possession is gold in the overtime. He turns it over. Same guy comes down. Clayton Keller scores a goal, and you lose 5-4. That has to hurt more than anything else. You had the game won. It was over. Yeah. It was done. The door was closed. You just had to turn the lock, and they couldn't do it.
Bad news in that game last night.
And it was all the biggest problem, Mike, is it's all veterans who are screwing up. This isn't like, the rookie's making a mistake, or even Mishkov in his second year, he's making a mistake. These are their guys. This is your leadership group, right? You know, and even on the power play goal, nobody blocks a shot. Who's on the ice? Sanheim, alternate captain. Couturier, captain. Cam York's been here a few years. Christian Dvorak's been in the league since 2015. You have all veteran players who are not getting the job done. And Tocchet was pissed last night. He didn't call anybody out by name, but the way he was talking about it, he was not happy with his veteran players, nor should he be. All
right, that's the Flyers report, Ant.
Yeah.
Let's get a couple quick hitters in here, because I know you and I are on different sides of the fence on this one. Back to basketball, Maxey and VJ Edgecombe had a little heated exchange on the sidelines.
Yeah.
And, of course, Twitter went wild. The social media went wild on it. I think that's a terrible look. I never like to see anything like that. I know a lot of people say, well, it's good that VJ came back at him and blah, 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 and those things kind of bond the team. I don't like it. And I don't think they made too big social media made too big a deal out of it. I know you think they did.
So here's where I could be with you on this if it's something that is a repeated problem, right? If it's something that happens over and over again. But in a moment, sometimes, you're both trying to win the game. Somebody does something that screws up. You get a little angry with your teammate. You're kind of trying to talk your way through it. And it gets, demonstrative. I mean, nobody's throwing punches or anything. It's not that. And then, of course, they hug it out and they're on camera laughing about it after the game together. I'm okay with it. I'm not saying it's good for the team, but I'm okay with that spirited debate. Now, if this becomes a thing that keeps happening over and over and over again, then we can have a different discussion. Then I think I would side with you that it's not a good look.
Okay. Let's do a couple other quick hitters.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Aaron Nola has been selected to pitch for Team Italy.
Yes.
In the World Baseball Classic.
Paisan.
Now, first of all, I dispute that he's a Paisan. I got to tell you, I dispute it. Because I looked it up, and the name Nola has multiple origins, primarily from the Irish meaning fair shoulder.
Okay. Well, that is a good pitcher, right? Fair shoulder, right?
Or it is a geographical name from the Italian city of Nola.
I was floored by this. Mike.
I don't know what to make of this.
Mike, I talk to Aaron Nola all the time, and at no point in any conversation that I've ever had with him in the 4 years that I've been down there with him have we ever had a discussion about Italy. I had him on one of my podcasts last year. We sat there for 40 minutes talking about life. We never once talked about World Baseball Classic, about like Italian heritage. None of that ever came up. So when Rob Thompson is at the Philadelphia Sports Writers Banquet last night, says, "Oh yeah, Aaron Nola is going to pitch for Italy in the World Baseball Classic," I nearly fell out of my chair. Like, I couldn't believe that was a thing. I was floored by that.
Yeah, that's fugazi to me. Speaking of Italian words, that's a fugazi. And
Does it
he's a Bayou guy, man. He's got no Italian roots. I don't know where that came from.
Does it give new meaning to throwing a meatball?
Oh, it might. That's not bad. That's good. That's good stuff. All right. The last thing I want to talk about, we always like bounce around and do non-sports stuff.
Yeah.
You have a DoorDash complaint about accountability. Now, I don't do DoorDash.
Okay.
So I don't find it. I think that it's way overpriced. If you're going to get something from DoorDash, you're going to pay $1 million to have it delivered to your house. But you like it. So give me your complaint about DoorDash.
So this isn't. It's not that I particularly like it, but it was Saturday night. We had a lot going on, and my wife looks at me and she goes, "Hey, do you want to just order out tonight?" And I was like, "Yeah, whatever." And so she's like, I like this one restaurant, and I want to get food from this restaurant. And I was like, "Well, all right. I guess the only way to get that is through DoorDash. So why don't we do DoorDash?" So I'm not normally a DoorDash guy, but I wanted you to hear this story as somebody with a legal background and tell me what you think. So we're scrolling through, and it says that the order will take, in the DoorDash that we put in, it says it'll take about 50 minutes. By the time they make it, the guy goes and gets it and then drives and drops it off at the house. Okay, great.
A lot to wait for your meal.
Well, it's fine. Whatever. We knew it. We were expecting 50 minutes. It took Mike 2 hours and 15 minutes
for
the food to get there. Now, not only did it take that long, but then when the food got there, it was ice cold. So now it's terrible. So the meal's ruined, right? It's $100 meal ruined. Okay. I go into the app. I'm like, all right, well, I'm just going to file a complaint with DoorDash. Maybe they'll give us a coupon, a credit, something, whatever.
Right.
And they said, oh, well, your order was delayed. Now, we live in the suburbs. You know where we live. We're in Delaware County. Your order was delayed because of heavy traffic. And so because of that,
that's the catch-20. That's the catch-all.
Because of that, we cannot offer any kind of refund or credit on this order. Sorry it took so long. And I'm like, that's BS. There's no heavy traffic where we ordered from to come to my house on a Saturday at 7:00.
Well, you never know. How can you tell?
Mike, I could look on my GPS and I can see where the traffic line is, right? Like I can see if there's red lines. Oh, okay, there's traffic. I went and looked, there was nothing. Okay. So they gave me a BS line and did nothing for me. Like, how do you deal with that? Like,
I don't know.
Sorry about your luck.
You're out of luck, basically. You trust DoorDash. They can fall back on excuses like that and not be liable for anything. You still got your food.
I know.
If you didn't get your food and they withheld it, then that's different.
That's a different story. Or if we got the wrong order or something like that.
You got your food. You just got it late.
But really late, like an hour and a half.
Do they guarantee that it's going to be there in 50 minutes? No, they don't guarantee.
No, because what happens is so when you put the order in, so it said 50 minutes, and then it gives you like an estimated time of arrival. Yeah. And that 50 minutes is usually within that estimated time of arrival.
Yeah.
Even that is only like, it would have been like, okay, even if it's on those long end, it's like 60 to 65 minutes. It's like, all right, but not 2 hours and 15 minutes. My wife was pissed. She was miserable.
So what's that do now for your future orders?
Not ordering it through DoorDash. That's for damn sure. I'll go get in the car and go pick it up myself.
You're out.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
When I order out, I always pick it up myself.
Yeah, I'm doing that now.
I don't leave it to any delivery person.
Yeah. Smart.
Can't. Because of situations like yours. It's going to come back cold. It's going to come late. You really, you want your food right away. So you call. It's going to be done in 15 minutes. Boom. Get to the place, pick it up.
Yeah.
And I only order local. Like I'm not going to order in the city and pick it up in the city. You know what I'm saying?
Right. No, you're right. 100%. That now next time she wants food from that restaurant, if we're not going to it directly, I will drive and go pick it up.
There you go. All right. Did we miss anything today?
Not that I don't think so. I think we
missed anything. If you find yourself on the injured list, you should get your help now. Wapner Newman.
What, do you think they can help me with DoorDash?
If you're on the injury, call Wapner Newman right now. Malpractice injury attorneys and DoorDash experts.
There you go.
215-569-0900. Visit them online at wapnernewman.com. Thanks, everybody, for listening today. We really appreciate it. Tell your friends and neighbors about the podcast. We do it every Thursday here, the On Pattison podcast with me, Mike Misnelli, and Anthony Sanfilippo.
And I think you're going to have.
Where are you headed tonight?
I got to head out to Chickies and Pete's on Roosevelt Boulevard for Snow the Goalie at 6
I'll go out and
p.m.
see Anthony do his Snow the Goalie podcast.
Yeah, Snow the Goalie, 6 p.m. out at Chickies and Pete's in the Boulevard.
Fun
And then I think next week, Mike, you're going to have an announcement about a special show that you're doing.
We'll have a special show that we're going to be on the road doing. So that'll be cool.
That'll be fun. That'll be fun.
Right.
We'll talk about that
Everybody
next
have
week.
a great rest of the night. Thanks for listening, watching. Check it out on if you missed it, go on podcast that available on any podcast network that you use. For Anthony, Mike, take care, everybody. Bye-bye.